They called me the company's heartbeat. Until they stabbed me in the back. I built everything they bragged about. Their code, their future, their billion-dollar dream. Then they tossed me aside like outdated software. But they forgot one thing. I wrote every single line that kept their empire alive. And I wasn't done. My name is Elena Ross, and I used to believe loyalty still meant something in corporate America. At Signatech, I spent 11 years building systems that powered half the country's logistics networks. Software that made deliveries faster, cheaper, smarter. I started as a junior engineer fresh out of MIT, hungry and idealistic. I stayed late, skipped weekends, and wrote code like my future depended on it because it did. By the time I was 33, I'd climbed high enough to be the youngest vice president of systems architecture in company history. They called me the quiet genius, the woman who turned chaos into clarity. And I believed I'd earned a seat at the table, until the day I realized the table was rigged. It started on a rainy Thursday morning in downtown Seattle. I'd just wrapped a 12-hour sprint finalizing Aura, our next-generation optimization engine, a project I'd led for 4 years. The system was revolutionary. It used predictive mapping and dynamic routing to save clients millions every quarter. It was the kind of breakthrough that could push Signatech's valuation past $2 billion. That morning, my boss, Nathan Cole, the COO, summoned me to an urgent strategy review. Nathan was all charm on the outside, perfect smile, perfect suit, perfect lies. When I stepped into the conference room, the entire executive board was waiting. At the head of the table sat Angela Prescott, the CEO, polished, poised, and utterly unreadable. Beside her, a woman I'd never seen before. Blonde, confident, designer heels, and a folder labeled Aura Transition Plan. That was my first clue. "Elena," Angela said, motioning for me to sit. "You've done extraordinary work with Aura. Truly. But as we scale globally, the board believes the project needs a new kind of leadership." Her voice was silk over broken glass. "New leadership?" I repeated, keeping my tone calm. Nathan interjected. "This is Victoria Lang, our new Director of Systems Strategy. She'll be taking over the Aura division, effective immediately. We'd like you to assist with the handover." Handover. The word hit like a gunshot. A decade of sweat, sleepless nights, and sacrifices reduced to a handover. Victoria smiled, the kind of smile people practice in mirrors before stepping on someone's throat. "Big fan of your work, Elena," she said sweetly. "Can't wait to learn from you." Learn from me? She meant take from me. My stomach churned. "I don't recall discussing a leadership transition," I said, eyes on Angela. "The board made the decision this morning," Angela replied. "You'll continue as a senior advisor until integration is complete." Senior advisor. In corporate language, that meant dead woman walking. I sat there silent, listening as they spoke about my project like I was already gone. And that's when it hit me, this wasn't a reshuffle. It was a coup. Over the next 2 weeks, I trained Victoria on everything she claimed she already knew. She'd never coded a single module in her life. Her background was marketing. But she was Nathan's girlfriend, and Nathan wanted her on the fast track to the C-suite. I documented processes, outlined dependencies, and watched my name fade from internal reports. Every time Aura was mentioned, it became Victoria Lang's visionary project. Then came the final blow. A confidential email from HR landed in my inbox. Position redundancy notification. They were firing me. With gratitude for my contributions. Effective the following Monday. I remember staring at the screen numb. 11 years. Hundreds of all-nighters. Dozens of patents filed under Signatech's name, but written by my hand. And they expected me to leave quietly. I didn't cry. I didn't yell. I simply copied the message, archived it, and opened a secure folder buried deep inside Aura's architecture. That folder contained something no one else knew existed. The root encryption protocol. Aura's digital soul. Without it, the system couldn't authenticate updates or communicate securely with client servers. And the only person who held the private key was me. Not because I wanted power, but because I didn't trust people like Nathan. Turns out I'd been right. Monday came. I walked into the office like it was any other day. HR met me with forced smiles and a box for my belongings. Security waited by the elevator, polite but firm. Nathan didn't even show his face. Angela sent a generic thank you email to the entire company. We wish Elena the best in her future endeavors. Her dedication to Signatech has been invaluable. Invaluable, yet disposable. I left the building at 9:03 a.m. Seattle drizzle clinging to my coat. My life packed into a cardboard box. No applause. No goodbye party. Just silence. But silence can be powerful when you know what's coming. Because while they celebrated my departure with mimosas upstairs, I sat in my car, opened my laptop and initiated Aura's verification sequence, the one tied directly to my employee credentials. When my access changed from active to terminated, the system did exactly what I'd programmed it to do. It entered integrity protection mode. Within 90 minutes, every Aura instance across the network would demand re-authentication from its registered architect. If that didn't happen, the software would lock itself, not crash, not delete, just sleep. Indefinitely. And while Signatech scrambled to fix it, I'd already be 3 steps ahead. By 10:37 a.m. my phone was blowing up. Texts from former colleagues. Aura's down. Everything's frozen. Nathan's losing it. Angela's calling emergency meetings. I smiled for the first time in weeks. It had begun. They'd fired the one person who could save them. Meanwhile, I drove to Northbridge Law, a discreet firm that handled IP disputes for tech founders. 3 years earlier, I'd quietly incorporated Ross Intelligence LLC, a legal shell that owned the foundational patents for Aura's encryption layer. Signatech had perpetual usage rights only while I remained employed. At 11:12 a.m. those rights expired. My lawyer, Karen Gwynn, met me in the glass-walled conference room with a knowing look. "You predicted this, didn't you?" she asked. "Call it intuition," I replied. "Let's file the activation notice." Kara tapped a few keys and sent a single, devastating email to Signatech's legal department. Subject: Licensing violation Aura Core protocols. Effective 11:12 a.m. All license rights held by Signatech Incorporated under Ross Intelligence LLC are suspended pending reinstatement of the architect's employment. Further unauthorized use constitutes infringement under federal law. By noon, Signatech's billion-dollar product had turned into a legal liability, and I hadn't even left the building lobby. Inside Signatech, chaos reigned. Nathan barked orders. Angela called emergency IT teams. Victoria, the new leader, sat frozen as error messages flooded every screen. Clients demanded answers. Shipments stalled. Contracts triggered penalty clauses. Millions bled every hour. Someone recorded the chaos and leaked it online. A video titled Signatech Meltdown. Within hours, it hit the front page of Reddit. Nathan finally called me. "Elena, we're experiencing a technical issue. Can you? You mean the issue caused by firing the system architect?" I cut in. A pause. Then quieter. "Can you help us restore it?" "I could," I said. "But I'm no longer employed by Signatech. And according to my license terms, I can't modify proprietary code without compensation." He inhaled sharply. "Angela will make this right. Come in tomorrow. We'll talk." "Tomorrow," I said. "By then your clients will have pulled half their contracts." Click. I let him sweat. Because revenge isn't about rage. It's about precision. By dawn the next morning, Signatech's meltdown dominated every tech headline. Logistics giant crippled by software lockout. Aura system offline. Clients fume as deliveries halt. Investors panicked. Stock price nosedived 42% before markets even opened. At 8:15 a.m. my phone rang again. Caller ID. Angela Prescott. "Elena," she said, her voice sharp but strained. "We need to resolve this. Name your terms." "I already have an offer," I said. "But I'll hear you out. Reinstatement, full back pay, promotion to Chief Innovation Officer. And Nathan." A pause. "He's integral to operations." Then so was I. I hung up. 10 minutes later my lawyer's assistant pinged me. "They've escalated. Preparing temporary injunction." Let them, I thought. Every move they made only strengthened my position. By noon a new player entered the field. Harper Mendoza, venture capitalist and former CTO at a rival firm. She'd seen the headlines and reached out through Kara. We met that afternoon in a quiet cafe overlooking Puget Sound. Harper got straight to the point. "I've followed your work for years," she said. "Aura could reshape infrastructure if run independently. What you need is backing." "And what do you get?" "Ownership stake. Funding. A new company, your company, built around the tech they took for granted." I studied her. She wasn't flattering me. She was making a business offer grounded in respect. For the first time in months, someone spoke to me like a founder, not an employee. We shook hands. That evening, Ross Intelligence LLC became Aura Dynamics, with Harper Mendoza as investor and Kara Handling Incorporation. By Friday, Signatech was in free fall. Their engineers tried to rebuild Aura from backups, but the encryption rejected every copy. Nathan even hired overseas hackers to break the protocol. They triggered my decoy server instead. A digital honeypot that logged every intrusion attempt and automatically forwarded evidence to federal authorities. By Monday morning, the FBI's cyber division had opened an investigation into Signatech for unauthorized system tampering and IP theft. When the agents walked through their glass lobby, cameras captured everything. The clip went viral within hours. For once, I didn't need to lift a finger. At 9:42 p.m. that night, Nathan finally called from a private number. His voice was unrecognizable, a mixture of arrogance and pleading. "You win, Elena. Angela's out. The board wants a deal. Just unlock the system and—" "I don't win, Nathan," I said. "I take back what's mine." "There's a difference." He went silent. "I gave you loyalty," I continued. "You gave me betrayal. Aura was built on trust, and trust doesn't reboot." Click. I blocked the number. 3 months later, Aura Dynamics officially launched. We operated from a renovated warehouse filled with sunlight, plants, and energy, not politics. Half my old team joined voluntarily after Signatech's collapse. We rebuilt Aura from the ground up, stronger and open source for ethical partners. Our motto: innovation with integrity. When our first demo streamed live, 2 million people watched. In the chat, comments poured in. "This is the woman Signatech betrayed? Revenge done right." She turned pain into power. Harper clinked a glass beside me. "Ready to be the face of a new era?" I smiled. "I already am." 6 weeks later, Angela Prescott appeared unannounced at our lobby. She looked smaller without her boardroom armor. "Elena, I came to apologize," she said quietly. "I let ambition cloud my judgment. Nathan misled me. I should have protected you." "I appreciate that," I said. "But apologies don't rebuild companies. I heard your new platform's open to enterprise licensing. Could we?" I stopped her with a polite smile. "Applications open next quarter. Standard rates. No favoritism." Her shoulders sagged. "Fair enough." She extended her hand. I shook it, not out of bitterness but closure. As she turned to leave, I added, "For what it's worth, I did learn from Signatech exactly what not to become." By the end of the fiscal year, Aura Dynamics surpassed every projection. Investors flooded in. Media outlets called it the fastest ethical rebound in tech history. During a televised interview, the host asked, "Elena, do you consider what happened revenge?" I thought for a moment. "No," I said. "Revenge burns fast. This was justice, and justice builds." Applause erupted. That night, standing on the balcony of our Seattle HQ, the skyline glittering below, I finally exhaled. For the first time, I wasn't surviving the system. I was defining it. Months later, I received a handwritten letter. It was from a Signatech intern who'd watched everything unfold. "You showed me that integrity still matters," she wrote. "I almost quit tech after what they did to you, but now I'm staying because you proved honesty can win." I folded the letter carefully and placed it in my desk drawer. Because that, more than the profits, more than the headlines, was the real victory. They'd betrayed me for power. I'd built something greater, purpose. And that's a kind of revenge that never fades. If you felt Elena's story hit close to home, the betrayal, the comeback, the justice, hit that like button and drop a comment below. Have you ever been underestimated or betrayed at work? How did you fight back? Don't forget to subscribe for more real-life inspired stories of betrayal, resilience, and ultimate redemption. Because sometimes the best revenge is rebuilding better.